Who are you following? Who are you following? Who are your mentors? Who are you looking to, reading, learning from, or just watching? Who do you admire and consider a good example of the kind of qualities you want in your life? Are the people you're following and watching still aligned with your values and with what you're personally trying to create for yourself in your life? Or are they aligned with an older version of you? Or a goal you no longer even have? Do they still exemplify what you want for yourself? Or this is worth noticing, because otherwise you may be following and therefore unconsciously affirming your belief that you have to do or be things you don't want to do or be to reach your goals for life. For example, are you following someone who has the money and the success you want, but also seems to literally always be on? Doesn't seem to ever unplug or take time off, not really anyway, and be generally doing and producing and appearing a lot more than you personally want to be doing for your own best quality of life? Because if so, they may be reinforcing your belief that you have to do and be all of that rather than helping. This kind of lifestyle may be that person's happiest and most joyful life. They may have a different best life and a different speed of life than you. They may have an entirely different personal constitution than you and completely different preferences, and that is not a problem. But if you're following them and learning from them, they may be subconsciously affirming your fear that you cannot be successful just being you and living your best quality of life. Maybe your best quality of life includes being able to step away from being on for days, weeks, or months at a time with ease while you continue to thrive financially and in every way. Maybe your best quality of life includes having a private, quiet, simple, sweet life while still doing what you love the most, making a positive impact in the world, and being free to unplug whenever you need or want. And maybe you don't really believe that's possible. And maybe you haven't yet found a mentor for your particular best life, someone who is a living example of what it is you're looking for. I reevaluated the people I follow or still follow recently and saw that some of them were actually talking a lot about ease, but were living and exemplifying a life that felt the opposite of ease to me personally. They were actually exemplifying the life I do not want, i.e., they're working and doing a lot more than I want to work or do for my own best quality of life. Most of them I wasn't actually following anymore, really, but they were still on my feed, still in my inbox, even if I just skipped over the email. And because they were actually quietly affirming my money blocks instead of helping me remove them, through no fault of their own. Like I said, this might be truly their best life. It's just not mine. That life might feel totally easy to them, but it just doesn't to me. But they were just the mirror image of where I was still holding on to the belief that I cannot fully do it my way, that I cannot create all that I want to create without doing and being everything that they do and be. I couldn't see this, though, because I was still hanging on to the story at this next level of my expansion that I cannot possibly create my very own version of success and money and fulfillment and what truly feels like ease to me, even though I literally am living that very reality right now because I dared to believe it. I am simply on my way to creating my own next level of that. And there will always be new levels of that for the rest of my days. That's the journey of life, and it's all the fun of it. It takes time to deprogram from the nervous system overdrive that we are all programmed to live and operate in, to truly settle into a different layer of ease within your bones and within your own being. But when you do, you start to really be aware of and notice where things are out of alignment with that for you. I'm so grateful to those mentors for being the ones who opened the door big enough for me to even be at a place now where I can see that. They each brought a perfect gem that I most needed at the exact right time for me. And now that I know myself better, I get to shift my attention to those that exemplify more of what I'm actually wanting from this new vantage point. Like, who do I see actually living the qualities of life I want to live with and alongside their success at whatever level that's at? I noticed I have pretty much done that naturally and had more of those people in my field and my inbox and my feed already, but I just still had a lot of the ones who no longer resonate as well and were thus reflecting a subtle conflict still in me. I no longer have that conflict, however, because I've decided not to. I've decided to know I will continue to create my own best quality of life in my own way without having to sacrifice anything that's important to me. How about you? Is there anyone that you're following that may actually be affirming some of your biggest blocks rather than helping you release them? Are the people you're following living the kind of life you want for yourself in every way or in some ways? Which ways? Even if they're different, you may still follow or learn from them, of course, but just get clear on what parts of that you want to create for yourself and what parts you don't. For example, some people probably look at the long-ass blog posts I write and speak out every week and cringe because it sounds like a nightmare to them to do. But to me, it's actually my most favorite thing, and the thing I do all day, every day, whether someone paid me or not. I am a writer. It's super easy for me. In fact, it's hard for me to stop writing, as evidenced in these long-ass posts. Whereas doing videos and social posts every day sounds like a nightmare to me, but could be other people's version of the most ease and joy. The important part is finding out what your version of the most ease and joy is, so you're not unconsciously just thinking you have to do stuff that's not part of your most beautiful and bountiful life. The path to living that most beautiful and bountiful life is a healing path. A healing of all the wounds that told you you weren't worthy of living a beautiful and bountiful life in the first place, or that you couldn't. Saying yes to that life is saying yes to that healing. And that is what my work is all about. So if it calls to your heart, I'd love to have you join us in my Feast or Famine No More course, where we do exactly that at a nice, slow, easy pace throughout the year. You can learn more about that at sunnychapman.com/feast. But no matter what you do, don't let anyone tell you there is only one way to do something. Following your own path is an exercise in trust, faith, and freedom, the likes of which you've never done before. It is an adventure, and it's a journey, but it's the one you came here for. Don't be afraid to follow that call. It just may be the best thing you ever did. Thanks for joining me today. And if you'd like to get these posts delivered to your inbox every Sunday morning, you can do so at sunnychapman.com/more, where you'll get my free How to Make More Doing Less guide.